My name is Deborah Sweet with World Can't Wait. We're going to be joined in a moment by several people who have been in this battle all the way for a very long time, and we really appreciate them coming out and you all coming out today in the cold. I'd like to introduce first Nancy Hollander, an attorney, and not just an attorney sitting in her office, but attorney who fought for Chelsea Manning, who fights every day for men imprisoned in Guantanamo, including helping to win the freedom of Mohamedou Slahi. This is a very important contribution to this movement. While we've been out on the street for 20-some years now, freezing and protesting, the role of these attorneys is extremely important. So please give a listen to Nancy Hollander. I speak for my clients. I speak for the 39 men who are still in Guantanamo. Only 12 of them have ever been even charged with a crime. The others have never been charged. People don't realize this. They've been held for almost 20 years, some of them for 20 years, never charged with any crime in the United States of America. When President Bush decided to put the prison in Guantanamo, on Guantanamo Bay, he did so because he thought no one will ever know, there'll be no lawyers, they have no rights, that none of the conventions apply, we can do anything we want to them. And they had no end game. They simply brought them there. They dropped leaflets, and I have one of the leaflets. They dropped leaflets that said, turn in a terrorist, make $5,000. They dropped those leaflets all over Afghanistan and Pakistan, and people turned them in. These were not people on a battlefield. These were not people who were fighting the United States. Only a few, and those few are facing trial. But this is not really a trial. It's not a military trial. Military trials are just like the trials everywhere else. They have due process. These are not military trials. These were made up just for this purpose, and now, all these years later, they still aren't anywhere near being tried. One of them is my client, Ibrahim al-Nasri. He's been there since 2006, but he was captured in 2002. He was taken to black sites, tortured in ways that if you think about 16th century, then you know how these men were tortured. And then brought to Guantanamo and still there. Mohamedou Slahi got out finally, even though the judge ordered him released in 2010, and he didn't get out till 2016. There is no choice. Guantanamo must close. Yes. Must close. Yes. Let's not forget that President Bush, who originally said, or Cheney said, these are the worst of the worst, 780 men, and then he released 500. Obama released about 124. He said he would close it, and he didn't. President Biden said he would close it, and it's now been, what, a year, almost a year? He's done nothing to close it. These men have to be released. Every one, that's not a process of just opening the doors. Where are they going to go? Some can't go home, it won't be safe. They have to make arrangements to go to other countries. The U.S. has to make arrangements to provide for them when they get there. This is not a simple task, but it must start. And so we can lock this prison and go away from it. The U.S., it's illegal to torture anyone. It's immoral. Torture cannot be used in any time. not even in the middle of war. And yet these men were tortured by agents of the United States, by the Department of Defense, by the CIA. This is what we have in the U.S. today. If you don't like it, tell your senators, tell your congressmen, tell anyone who can get close to President Biden that it must close today. The process must start today. And if you want to know more about Guantanamo, watch the movie The Mauritanian about Mohamedou al-Salahi. Watch the movie. It's his voice. It's his voice with which I speak today to say that we must stand up for due process. We must stand up for the rights of every person, because every person in the world has dignity and must be treated fairly, must be cared for, must have, if they're to have trials, they must have due process. Their rights must be protected. All of us are guilty if we do nothing. We must all do something, even if it's just to tell your next door neighbor. You must do something so we can get this prison closed. And thank you all for standing here in the cold.